now we're going to go to a live news conference by U.S. Attorney Bill O'Saley. He's talking about the sex trafficking crackdown here in Southern California. He's about to take the podium. Let's take a listen.
Let's not go. Good morning, everybody. I'm Bill O'Saley, head of the U.S. Attorney's Office here. This morning, as part of our human trafficking task force with Homeland Security Investigations, IRS, and LAPD, we are announcing the arrest of 10 defendants who have either been indicted by a federal grand jury for trafficking or benefiting from sex trafficking of individuals in the Figueroa corridor. 7 of the defendants are related to our prior operation, Broken Blade, targeting the Hoover Street Gang. 2 of the defendants have been charged separately for sex trafficking, Kylan Young from the East Coast Crips and Dejon Williams from the Neighborhood Crips. Young trafficked a 15-year-old victim through violence. Williams trafficked a 16 and 17-year-old victims as well as an adult through violence. A 10th individual, Kenny Ray Mann, also a sex trafficker who was trafficking 16 and 17-year-old girls, has been indicted, and he whipped, raped, and punched one of the victims in the case. Over the last 11 months, my office has charged 25 sex traffickers with human trafficking violations carrying 10 to 15-year mandatory minimum prison sentences. That's more than the preceding 5 years combined. Operation Broken Blade is the first gang RICO case for human trafficking brought in the history of the Central District of California. The indictment is extremely lengthy, and it details out horrific facts of the case. There's tons of photos and images that are being displayed here on the TV. That's from the indictment. The indictment charges 18 defendants in 65 counts. 17 defendants are charged in a RICO conspiracy. 3 of those defendants, Armstead, Mountain, and Melendez, sex trafficked children as young as 14 years old. High school freshmen too young to drive, but who were forced into cars with strange men to have sex for money. That's the type of defendants we're dealing with today. These defendants recruited runaways, girls from foster care systems, and other vulnerable victims who turned to social media for affection, but these defendants ended up grooming them, recruiting them, and exploiting them. The first superseding indictment identifies 51 victims, children and young women who are physically and psychologically abused in an exploitation cycle for profit. Just this morning, we identified 5 additional victims as part of this operation, just this morning. And law enforcement is working with those young adults to get them services and much needed help. The victims in this case have faced extraordinary and horrific violence as part of this operation. This is how they accomplish the sex trafficking in Figueroa. They do it first through coercion and then through violence. As an example, one of the defendants bit off one of the girl's cheeks. He bit it out, her cheek down to the cartilage. She had to get hospital care and stitches to get that repaired. One victim was beaten with a Rolex watch wrapped around his hand, a pimp's hand. One victim was forced to engage in sexual activities. On the same day, she was forced to have an invasive abortion procedure. One victim was choked to the point of asphyxiation. One victim was thrown out of a car and carjacked with children in the back seat. Horrific. In addition to charging the sex traffickers, we've also charged the people who are benefiting from this horrific conduct down in Figueroa. One of those is the manager of the Stadium Inn, which is a hotbed of where the Hoovers and Hoover associates sex trafficked their victims. He's charged with knowingly benefiting from sex trafficking. The manager, Ahir Mukesh Kumar, admitted that up to 90% of the rooms he rented at the Stadium Inn were for prostitution. 90%. He keeps half of the proceeds from those activities. He's making a lot of money off the exploitation of these young women. He's even admitted to having parents, or their parents came looking for missing children at his motel, but he continued allowing these activities to persist. Mukesh Kumar said he would rent to anyone who has the ability to pay, regardless of their intentions. He did not care. What I want to say is this case represents some of the worst defendants our prosecutors interact with and prosecute. It's horrific. But what I will say is that the work of the men and women of LAPD and the federal agents represents the best of the best in law enforcement. These men and women literally saved these women's lives. They saved the lives of these young children and young adults there in Figueroa being extorted and exploited. And so we are very proud to stand with LAPD in this operation. This is this activity should not happen anywhere, let alone in a fine city like Los Angeles. And we will work with our partners to eradicate these activities. And whatever support LAPD needs, we're going to give it to them. The best support we can give them is locking up these defendants for a very long time so they can never do this again in the near future. So with that, let me introduce the head of HSI for Los Angeles, Eddie Wayne, to say a few comments.
All right, guys, that's U.S. Attorney Bill Staley giving details on that human trafficking raid that was conducted this morning. Very graphic details there. 10 people arrested. Our Rick Montanez is at that press conference. He will have much more coming up for us at 10 o'clock.